One of my favorite programs that I utilize when I'm especially designing the floors and designing a number of different or giving ideas to designers when I'm working on the floor is your alternatives program. Knowing that Burton James has not a large scope of programs, but a few programs to make it easier for people to purchase the line in some ways. Tell me about the alternatives program.
When we were developing alternatives, we wanted to give designers, shopping through designer showrooms, an easier way of putting together their own story.
Okay.
So we offered them 10 arms, 10 different legs, styles and choices, different cushioning, different overall depths, and different overall heights. It's not a new idea, but it was something that hadn't been in the Burton James choice before, and we thought that this is something where we're not charging for all of these custom additions.
The bells and whistles are included.
Correct. I mean, the bells and whistles as far as the frame depth or the frame height or which arm do I want. So, and then we offered more than 30 different pieces. So there's over 30 SKUs, and we keep adding to those SKUs. As we see things and the market change, we add to that program. So, we have the extra large chaise now, which we didn't have when we first started it a few years ago.
Absolutely.
And we have a pod piece, and we have bumper pieces.
That pod piece is like a #1 seller for CAI Designs. It's insane. Like literally, we go with we have the no arm chaise, and then we have the right arm pod piece, and like all of a sudden people are like, I want that, but mirrored, and then they create an entire environment. It's gorgeous, and it's volumetric.
What's exciting about the pieces that aren't just a right arm facing sofa or a left arm facing tux or a two-seater or whatever is when you add in those other pieces, you can create very dynamic floor settings, and you can really be creative with the way that the furniture is presented. So it's not just an L-shaped sectional, it's an L-shaped, it's a sectional that has a pod on one end and maybe a double chaise on one side. Or I've got clients that like to take 2 double chaises and put them together for like a media room. So we wanted to have a lot of versatility in a program that was also easy to use. So we made a checklist. So you have a checklist, you can download it from the internet, and you can check off all of the things that you want. So you've made sure that you haven't forgotten anything or skipped. All of our programs come with something that helps the person who is selling it to be more proficient and to make sure that they don't miss anything. Because when you do custom furniture, there are a lot of details that people forget about, or they just didn't call it out for some reason, or we don't like to get orders that say to be determined, because that order is going to sit until that information is answered.
Exactly.
So they're not getting dropped in the factory if there's a TBD on any part of the paperwork.
Shoot. And I mean, that's something that you guys are really good about, as well as your lead times are amazing in themselves. And I mean, you're in the city of industry in California. So yeah, sure, the shipping may take a little longer when it gets to Chicago, but I mean, the production time is incredible in itself if it's a standard frame, even if it's customized. But really quick to go back to a couple of the checklist items in alternatives are all of the fabrics included in the program?
Correct. All of the Burton James fabrics are graded into this program. And that's the beauty of it. You can change your depth, but there's no upcharge. You can change the back height, but there's no upcharge. You can change the arms, and there's, again, no upcharge. So upcharge is for like a nail head detail, or if your client wants to add trim to the base or do something that's other than just the normal, yes, there's some charges for that. But other than that, that's why it's so great, because the person who's the seller doesn't have to figure out all this extra stuff. It's all included in the price. So it makes it easy for them.
Excellent. See, that's something that I really enjoy, is that there's so much customization that happens out in design in itself, but this actually just kind of cuts through all of that, and it makes it so much easier without having to wait for a custom quote. You're able to turn that around really fast give it to your design client and say, here we are, let's close this deal.
And not to leave out the fact that somebody could use the alternatives program and customize it if they wanted to. So our 40 inches is our overall depth on this particular program. But if somebody wanted to do a 42 or a 45 using the products that we have in alternatives, we'll just charge you a little bit more to change the depth or the overall height. Or some people want lower heights now, or they want to lower the seat. Our standard seat height is 19 inches to the welt, and then it crowns usually to about 20 inches, 20 and a half. So people can make a lot of different choice changes even within the program. And it doesn't really cost that much.
Give me that 45-inch depth for that movie room. Sign me up. Sign me up.